It's so bad because like they don't have all the games. Like if you're an Eagles fan, you're gonna miss 5 games of the season. If you're a Giants fan, you're gonna miss 5 games of the season. They're not gonna have more than like 30% of the NBA games once TNT loses its subscription. Cable is like average like 100 or more for the sports package.
That is effectively kind of like cable, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get IPTV. If you're Indian, you know what the IPTV is.
Welcome to the first episode. Today we're gonna talk about why these big sports media companies are just so desperate. Like you gotta sit down. We gotta deep dive into this.
We're gonna be talking about the new Venu Sports. First off, it's called Venu, but I thought it was called Venu. Anyways, this is a new sports streaming service by Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers Discovery. They're charging $42.99 per month for it. It's designed to attract those who are primarily subscribed to cable sports. Majority of people that are already using cable are just doing it just for the sports packages, right? Because everybody has different rights to all the sports deals, and so you'll just subscribe to cable in order to get access to all of those. But Venu Sports with ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers are hoping to give an alternative to that and charging only $42.99. But turns out that isn't exactly the case because they're going to be increasing that after the first year. So this $42.99, $500 per year is just for the first year. And that has gotten some people kind of pissed about it.
Before we get into this, I think it's a good idea if we go a bit deeper into like why sports is so important right now. Because a lot of these like cable companies, you know, they're all dying. If you go look at like Comcast's stock, the only reason why people watch live TV is for sports. So like having sports is such a big deal, and that's why Venu is doing this. TNT, they just lost their biggest product in the NBA. They're desperate. ESPN, Disney, you know, they've also been on the decline. They're desperate. And Fox is just Fox. Skip Bayless had to leave them. They're desperate too. Now let's talk about the real problems with this, the more substance-based. So obviously it's a lot of channels. You get a bunch of different things. And I'll show you what's part of the package right now. So right now you're going to get essentially everything on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN NU, the SEC Network, ACC, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, Fox 1, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, you know, all that stuff, TBS, TNT, as well as ESPN Plus. And that covers a bunch of different leagues from golfing, soccer, football, MLB, NHL, and the NBA. But the big problem here is that you're getting some of everything, but not one of everything. So what I mean by that is, yeah, you get the NFL, but you're not going to get every game. And that might not be a big deal if you're only focusing on one team. But the thing is, like, if I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, which I am, like, I'm going to be missing 5 of the potential 17 games in the season if I go with these people. I'm going to have to watch that on cable, which, anyways, I'm already on cable. I might as well pay for that. And I think the problem here is, like, yeah, I get a lot of those sports, but I don't get any of them to the full extent. So what's the point? I'm anyways going to have to be paid for something else. And at that point, the costs are going to add up. You know, all these things, like, we should have literally never left cable. There was no need to leave cable because what's essentially happening now is that, yeah, sure, the streaming services are cheaper, but you're going to have to get multiple streaming services to watch all the games anyways. And at that point, I could have just been on cable the entire damn time. But there's also something else that relates to this, and that has to do with antitrust laws.
Okay, so yeah, this is interesting because FuboTV, if you don't know, FuboTV is also another package. They charge something like $79, $72, something like that per month. And effectively, they're kind of pissed. So they filed a complaint against the Venu partners. These are Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers. This was actually back in February. Anyways, this article by Sportico says that the company has been a victim, Fubo, has been a victim of a years-long campaign to stymie Fubo's moderately priced sports-first streaming service. I don't know how moderately priced it is, but effectively Fubo is saying that these guys are undercutting the market, even though Fubo has to go above and beyond to try to get sports into their package, right? They have to include other things and follow the rules and regulations that these, you know, ESPN and Disney and all these other companies are doing, and they have to follow those rules. And then they still have a really great package out there for people to use. And now these 3 companies are coming in and basically it's like duping or undercutting them and taking all the competition. I don't know how much, like you said, it's going to actually hold up in court. I'm not a lawyer, but it looks like they're just kind of complaining about this, that these companies are doing it. And I'm not justifying what the companies are doing. It's just, I just don't think it holds up legally. It's just, you know, ruthless business that happens in America.
Yeah, but I think there's one thing that you're saying I think that's pretty important about, you know, how they're charging a pretty low price, but apparently that's just for the first year, right?
Yeah. So reports were saying that this is $42.99, so around like $500. But it was just for the first year. So they're trying to get people to lock in that price, which means it's going to go up, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I also think like this is kind of funny because the NFL just recently got sued for NFL Sunday Ticket as well, and it's for antitrust issues. So if you don't know, that was essentially about this package called NFL Sunday Ticket where you can go watch games that are outside of your city. If I'm in LA, I can still watch the Eagles games with that subscription. But what's happening here is that they got sued because the price was pretty high, but you're only allowed to watch it on satellite. So there wasn't really any competition in the market. And now a judge said that they're going to pay it $4.7 billion. Now the NFL is going to appeal that. Like, I don't know what these companies are doing right now. They really have no innovation. All they're doing is changing how we pay for the product. They're not changing how we experience the product. Sure, once in a while, they'll introduce a new viewpoint. They'll add some stats, but there's not really much they've done to change how we consume sports.
Yeah, correct. But even like Venu Sports, they did a survey the other day on people actually purchasing it. I don't know how much we should trust the survey, how many people they actually asked about this, but it was apparently 39% of people might consider canceling their current TV subscription in favor of Venu Sports. So they are looking at this data and saying, you know what, this is interesting. We can actually make some money off of this. Otherwise, why would they spend the time to work with each other to release this? There was also another stat. Let me try to find it. It was, their enthusiasm factor. I don't know how much this actually matters. It was a recent survey saying 42% of viewers, sports viewers, are likely to subscribe. It's just likely to subscribe. I don't know if they're actually going to end up subscribing. 58% of 18 to 34-year-olds and 57% of 35 to 49-year-olds. So like over 50% of people between 18 and 49 years old expressed enthusiasm for signing up for the service. That's probably because all these people are kind of already adjusted to using these streaming services from a young age, right? Like, you know, we did grow up with cable, but a lot of them have transitioned. They use YouTube TV, Hulu. A lot of people are comparing Venu to Hulu, but like for sports. So how like Hulu transformed TV streaming, Venu will do it for sports. I just don't think it'll be exactly the same because now you have so many different games, right? Like there's even like a Netflix Christmas Day game. Netflix is not like doing it, right? You're still going to have to purchase Netflix in order to watch that game. Amazon Prime games, you're going to have Amazon Prime. But considering a lot of the American audience has both Amazon Prime and Netflix, this is just one other extra addition. And, you know, some fans will have to give up some games, but maybe they're hoping that this will just be one other thing that they'll add to their package of, you know, Amazon Prime and Netflix and Hulu, I guess.
I guess I've maybe been a bit too negative, but I think the one thing about these stats is that, you know, you were talking about, like, were those stats created with the fact that, you know, this is right now just a $40 product, around $40
Correct,
a year?
yes.
Yeah, so, like, if that increases, maybe people will be lazy and they won't even realize it increased and they won't cancel their subscription. But at the same time, I feel like if it does increase, this is going to be at least somewhat big news. So who knows how enthusiastic people will be when that happens.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.